The announcement that Danny Jordan had been elected to the presidency of SAFA, the sport was rocked with the announcement that not just one, but two major sponsors were terminating their relationships with SAFA and Bafana Bafana. From next year, neither ABSA nor Puma will be linked with the national team. Joining us in studio is multi-award winning sponsorship and marketing expert, Justin Sampson. Good day and good morning.
Morning, Kendall. Thanks for having me today.
Well, thanks for joining us. Please tell us, is the timing of the announcement relevant?
I don't think so. I think Danny Jordan seems to be taking it personally and thinking it's relevant. But ABSA have for a long time stated that if we don't qualify for the World Cup, that they would exit the sponsor. And I think Puma also were looking at how Bafana were doing. So I think rather than political statements, I think it's more timing and linked to the World Cup and non-qualification for the World Cup.
Right, so this is not necessarily a statement on Danny Jordan's leadership or more like a SAFA Bafana Bafana indictment.
No, not at all. I think Danny's the right guy for the job. I think the fact that he's secured two great games in Spain and Brazil prove that. So I think he's taking it personally, and I know it's a hard job to do, and I wish him luck in that job. But I think the timing is just coincidence, and it's linked to what's happened before him, not what's happening currently in his new administration.
You were fairly intimately linked with the ABSA sponsorship deal.
Correct.
What does it mean financially for SAFA?
Look, I think at the height of the 2010 World Cup and the build-up to the 20 World Cup, I was at the Sports Industry Summit yesterday, and Danny mentioned that they had about 400 million rands worth of sponsorships in 2010 in that build-up period, and currently they're about half of that, so about 200 million. So there has been a huge impact to their bottom line in terms of sponsors pulling out. But obviously with the World Cup and the interest around that World Cup, there'd be more sponsors than what currently is the scenario.
All right. Please tell me, it's like we know that Puma says it's unhappy about the match allegations leveled at SAFA and how SAFA handled it. What is the reason for ABSA pulling out?
ABSA always had a contract that ended in 2013, so they had an option to renew, but they stated early on in that relationship, if we didn't qualify for Brazil 2014, that then they'd exit it. So I don't think it's a new story. It's actually something that they've been in contact with SAFA on a regular basis, and I think all the parties involved knew the scenario, that if we didn't qualify, then they'd exit as per their clause in the contract at the end of 2013.
Oh, okay, cool. And with regards to that makes a lot of sense. And then SAFA has allowed Bafana Bafana to play in the Puma strip all year round, even though the claims, which were corroborated by Puma in Germany, that the contract actually ended in January already, 2013. But the whole year, Bafana has been playing in this Puma strip.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the contract didn't end. Puma decided to exit or notify SAFA of their exit in January. Right. And there's some debate around when that notification did or didn't happen. But I think the bottom line is Puma are getting out of their relationship with SAFA. But in the meantime, SAFA and Bafana need a kit to play in. They've obviously got games coming up as early as next month. So it's convenient for them to carry on playing in that kit until they have another partnership in place. And that could take 6 months down the line to find a new partner in that space. But then on the flip side, Puma have got a lot of Bafana jerseys sitting in stores across the country that they want to sell. So even though they've made their intentions clear, I think it's a scenario where it's convenient for both parties to carry on using each other in the relevant spaces.
All right. So where to now for SAFA and Bafana?
Well, look, I mean, Danny stated yesterday that he's only been in the job coming on, I think it's 3 weeks today or 3 weeks this weekend. So you know, he's got a lot to do. He's got to build from the bottom up in terms of the key asset he has, that is Bafana. But I think if he doesn't get it right at a youth level and feed players into the system. So it's going to take a while. I think in terms of sponsorships, look, I mean, he delivered an awesome World Cup for the country. He's well connected internationally at FIFA levels. So he'll find new partners for Bafana. It's a process, and it's a process that he's starting. So as I said, I wish him luck, because it's all something we're very passionate about, and we want to see results. And to get those results, he needs the right partners for the long term.
Would you foresee that on the horizon there might be a domestic sponsor that could step into ABSA's shoes?
No, would be my quick answer, and simply because if you look at SAFA, they've been out in the marketplace looking for sponsors for the past year. So yes, it was a different administration and a different leadership. So maybe he's got contacts to bring in, but you're talking about big numbers. And if you look at Bafana, currently in the last year, they've probably played about 10 games, not against great opposition. So what are you actually sponsoring? So obviously by playing Spain and Brazil in the near future, Danny's already changing things, but he needs to create more rights around Bafana. They need to play more often. They need to do more for sponsors to get a return on their investment ultimately. And as I say, that process has started, but it's a long process.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Justin, for sharing your insights.
Thank you very much for having me.
That was Justin Sampson, independent consultant, a sponsorship consultant, giving us his ideas and analysis on the SAFA saga. Moving on to the next